Let's take a look at some of the individual movers. On the flip side, we want to take a look at Walgreens sinking on earnings. We're looking at losses of just about 9%. The company lowering its guidance for the year, warning of weak consumer spending, especially as people spend less on COVID tests and vaccines. The worst performer here amongst the group of names today. You're looking at losses again, just about 9% for the year. Akiko, the stock off over 20%, certainly having a tough time catching a bid and really reversing the downward momentum that we've seen over the last several months.
Yeah, we are. And interesting that we're still talking about the steep drop off in COVID vaccines, given how many years in we are removed from the peak of COVID. But here's an interesting number here. Walgreens administered 800,000 COVID-19 vaccines in the quarter. That's an 83% drop year on year. And then testing volumes also down. Interesting to note one more thing that they did flag, which is student loan repayments. They're looking at that as another potential headline that could be coming in this quarter that could lead to a pullback in consumer spending. Well, Delta, another stock we are watching today, shares jumping after the airline raised its second quarter guidance. It's still benefiting from the pent-up demand for travel. Not just pent-up demand, though, Seana. We are also seeing Delta, as well as many other airlines, getting a big boost from the pullback in jet fuel prices. Also, the trade-ups. We talk a lot about trade-downs. Delta talking about the trade-ups they're seeing from customers, whether it's paying extra money for extra legroom, a higher class. That premium number there for Delta certainly seeing some significant upside there. $19 billion this year.
Wow, $19 billion. Certainly, when you take in those two factors into account, that's going to help the company's bottom line. Also, just when it comes to some of this demand, though, that we're seeing, and Delta is not the only name here, but just the pent-up demand that we have seen for these airlines this summer is expected to be a record season. We're expected to see the numbers that we saw back in 2019, pre-pandemic. Delta was one of the names out there at Bastion saying that he expects it to be a record-setting next couple of months. Some of that robust demand that you're talking about international, a huge area of strength here for Delta. United had also mentioned the pent-up demand for people traveling overseas. So again, when it comes to some of this outlook, again, not largely unexpected here from the street, just given the fact that those demand numbers have been so strong now for several months. Let's also take a look at Meta shares getting a boost today thanks to a bullish note from Citi. Analyst Ron Josie raising his price target on the stock to $360 a share. That's the highest on the street. Citi saying that it's not because of the cost cutting, rather strength in advertising, specifically calling out the Reels platform here, Akiko. Ad revenue, they're expected that to jump 14% on a year-over-year basis. Reels to generate over $10 billion in revenue.
Yeah, he also highlighted some of the AI technology, the tools that was introduced by Meta, how he thinks that could help their ad revenue growth as well. Kind of interesting to contrast that with some of the notes we've gotten on Google about the concerns about how AI could impact their ad search revenue.